It is Tuesday, the 18th of May 2021. Now, listen, if this is your catch up, then firstly, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it may be. Welcome. This is your catch up snack. Please feel free to skip through the preamble if you want to get to where you want to get to. But I know I always say this, but I enjoy the little preamble. It's a chance to catch up with people, isn't it? So stick around if you want to. Now, if this is the catch up you want, then stay. If it isn't, then go find the one you do want. They're all on the Facebook group. Easiest way, photos tab. I say it every day, but if I keep going on about it, it might, one day you might think, oh, hang on a minute. That's usually what I have to do for me anyway. Keep repeating it. Right, so that is where we are. Now, the great thing about catch up is that, there's a couple of good things, isn't there? One, you can do it whenever, so it doesn't have to be, straight afterwards. It can be the next day. It could be one that you particularly enjoyed, you want to go back and have a look at if it's one of our lunchtime ones. But it can it can match in with whatever it is that you want, and however your day looks. That's one of the good things about catch up. The other is that, if you missed something, or you're unsure how to do something, you can pause it. You can go back a little bit. You can have a look. Decide how you're going to do it. Especially again, if it's our sway and stretch and it's our lunchtime one, possibly not so much with this because it's standard movements really. But, it gives you a chance to think, actually, I can go back, have a look at that and decide whether I want to do it standing, whether I want to do it seated, what length I want to go to, what degree I want to take it to, all those sorts of things. So, there's good things about catch up as well. Well, no, not as well. There is good things about catch up. Right, I'm going to pop across and I'm going to start saying hello to our live-os who are coming on board. Now, I can see for sure that we have Mr. Wright, Ian, who was first in. Jane was not far behind. Kelsey's in. And is that Carol I can see up there as well? I think it might be Carol I can see up there as well. Say hi as you come on board, folks. Let me know you're here. How'd you get on yesterday, Kels? Did you... First aid did okay, or is it a multi-day course you're doing? Hope you didn't trip on the way, if you were watching this as well. Not having to administer first aid to yourself as soon as you got there. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, lovely people from Kelsey. Oh, she knows as well. Good morning to Gillian Hiller as well. Bit of rain in Pembrokeshire this morning. Cuppa handy, ready to move. Cup in hand, ready to move. Likewise. That first cup of tea is the best, isn't it? Do you know, I woke at 5:30 this morning and I thought, I'll just have a couple of minutes and I'll get myself up and get ready. And then the next thing I know, it's 7:30. So the dangers of waking up early. Admittedly, it was the cat who was doing her normal of meowing at me, but like this, straight in your face, Ow! Oh, what's going on? Right, let's have a look. Wendy Granger, good morning to you. Good morning, Maddie Stranger. How the devil are you doing? Who else have we got? 2-day refresher, day 1, done. Day 2, here we come. Jenny, good morning to you and everyone else. Jane Andrews, good morning. Vivian Dixon, good morning to you. And everyone. Sun is out. And what we got? Sun is in and out this morning. Some dark clouds up there too. Do you know, beautiful blue sky at the very moment, but right in the distance I can see some clouds starting to form. So hopefully they don't do too much. Although in work all day later, so bucketed down here yesterday evening. Blimey, it was really coming down. Christy, good morning to you. Dawn, morning. How the devil are you? You all right? Sandra, good morning to you. Lovely sunny day where you are down in Waterlooville. Scary time to come in with Dave. Find a place to go. What, like that, Dawn? Was it really scary? Sorry. Tracy Taylor, good morning to you. Diane Edwards, morning. Gillian Hiller, good morning to Chris. And Chris is saying good morning to Gillian. I love that bit. Really do. Maddie, cats are wonderful alarm clocks. They are. Yes, especially when you've got two of them. You've got one on one side who's going, that little paw on the face as they do, Wake up, wake up. Oh, George Anderson, good morning to you. Sunny but dark blue sky. Circulation boosted, ready by taking the neighbours' food recycling bins. Sheila Day, half the collective is here, the non-beach half. I hope they have not got sand all over them when they get back. You know, it can get in very naughty places, in between your toes, a bit of irritation in there. It always gets where you don't want it, doesn't it? Under your fingernails, everywhere the sand does. And then you get in the car and it all falls off. That's the way it happens. Or you get in the house and it all falls off in one go, everywhere. Right, Margaret Wood, good morning to you. Sun coming out in Chesterfield, and Gloria, good morning to you. We are at 8:01, so let's get ourselves started, shall we? Let's lose those comments off the bottom of the screen if you want to. Swipe, and they are gone. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome along. You're with Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Tuesday, the 18th of May, 2021, and this is our 8 a.m. movement snack. Our first chance to start adding those extra movement minutes into our day. Standing or seated, choice is yours. Last slurp of me tea. I won't slurp, no, that's rude. And we're ready to go. Right, so standing or seated, choice is yours. We do have some external fixed support. Listen, I must tell you about this. I was doing some cleaning out yesterday evening, and I came across a pair of socks that I've got to wear them. But then I realised when they're from. They are from 2012. Look at these Bobby Dazzlers. Look at them. They are the Red-Nosed Day Comic Relief or Sport Relief. Sorry, not Comic Relief. Sport Relief socks from 2012 when we had the Olympics going on as well. They're cracking, aren't they? Anyway, enough of that. I've got my fixed external support available to me. My fireplace, my wall. I've got a good sturdy chair. There is nothing around. The cats are out playing. Nothing around on the floor that I could trip over. My socks on, and I'm using my socks so that I can feel the floor beneath my feet, and I can feel how the toes engage with the floor. If you have a solid surface floor, so like a wooden, which the rest of the house is, this is why I do it here for you. All the rest of the house has got wooden floors. This is why I'm wearing socks here. If I was doing it anywhere else, then sensible footwear is what I would have on. Making sure that only working at your own range of movement is really important. So whatever your range is, it is correct. Right, let's get ourselves set as far as our posture is concerned. So knees are in line with our heels and in line with our hips. The knees are soft as well. We're not locking them out, but we're not bending them too much. We've got this lift and lengthen out from our hips, separating the ribs, bringing the shoulders up, back, and pressing down, lengthening through our neck. Now, seated. Exactly the same with the upper half. First thing we do, however, from the back of our chair is bring the back off. So we're sitting taller and we're supporting our trunk. From there, it's a lift and a shift to bring ourselves into the front third of the chair. Now, when we're sat here, alignment below, knees in line with hips and in line with our heels. And again, the same from here, lifting, separating, shoulders up, back, and press down to take us into our circulation boosting. Starting with our feet, as I always do, and a good old click there. Don't know if you heard that. Oh, it's going good today. Bit of a click going on with my ankle. Right, so regular, flowing, controlled movements. This is what this is all about. It's about starting to get those movements happening as we start to warm things up. So we start to boost the circulation. Now, exactly the same in standing, and then to boost it a little bit further, to increase our intensity, we make the moves bigger rather than faster. So we can start to take this into a bit of a march, lifting the foot off the floor. Now, be careful in seated that we don't change our posture here, so we don't lean back a little bit. And the other thing to be careful of is we don't start to rock as well. There is a lot of work happening at the hips. We're already sat at 90 degrees, and then we're asking the little muscle in there, the hip flexor, to contract a little bit more for us to bring these legs off. So seated wise, if you get any discomfort, it might be an option to come back into this heel raise, or how about a toe tap out in front? Something that just changes that movement to ease any muscle fatigue you may have, but still keeps it flowing. In standing, then you can see that we get the chance by bringing that foot off the floor to point the toes down, to start to get some movement down into those ankles, ready for our bottom trio, which will come in a while. Now we can add an arm in as well, and we drive the elbow backwards with our arm, keeping it around about 90 degrees. And the reason for that is so that it's a driven movement. What we don't want is just a swing. We don't want momentum taking us through. So drive the elbow backwards so it's a purposeful, driven move. Now, support-wise, if you are using support, if it's in front of you and you've got room for your knees and your arm, then to change hands, you're going to place the hand down and then take the other hand up. In standing and seated, if we're not using support, then you can just change hands by stopping one hand and bringing the other hand in. If your support is to the side, however, we need to take a pause. At that point, we're going to turn with as many steps as we need to change to the other side, to find the cat staring at me through the French doors. I don't know if she's looking at me to say, what the heck are you doing? Or to say, let me in, I want to go back to bed. She'll wait though. We can change to the other side then. In seated, in standing, if we feel steady, stable, coordinated and ready. Both arms, both legs. So now we've got bigger movements because more of the body is moving. Heart rate should start to go up a little bit, and we should feel that we're perhaps breathing a little bit heavier. And this is exactly what we want. A couple of minutes in total for all of this, and then let's slow it down just a touch, bring it to a pause, and we're ready to go into our 3 trios, our 3 threes before 9. Okay? Starting with our top trio, our shoulders. So base of support outside of our hips, knees soft. Lift the shoulders towards the ears and then press them back down. And exactly the same in our seated position. Now let me come a bit closer, have a look. We lift and we press. The neck stays long and we press those shoulders back down as if we're trying to get the shoulder blades down the back. Okay? Really feel those shoulders moving. Now, shoulders wise, anything where the arm moves away from the body, the shoulder is involved in. So it's important that we get that mobilization out within there. Once you've done 4 or 5 of those, take a little pause, and then we're going to take it into that revolutionary movement. It's by bringing the shoulders forward, lifting up towards our ears, taking them back to bring the shoulder blades together, and then pressing back down. That controlled movement allows us to feel every part of the shoulder mobilizing as we go through it, rather than a fast movement. And we do it this way round because that then leaves us in a good open-chested postural position. So we've got that position we're looking for to open that chest and bring the shoulders back and down. Now, with both of your shoulder movements, if you feel you have less mobility on the one side, a lot of us do, we might have less movement on the one side than the other. And sometimes we don't notice it necessarily until we have a look at both together. If you do, then there's no reason why you can't add a few extras of the lifts or the rolls on just the one side, but keep the other shoulder level so that you're getting the best movement out of there. It's not a case of just lifting the whole shoulder up and the shoulder girdle coming up and down, or you know, it sort of going like that. It's level so you can feel the movement happening in there. Once you've done 4 or 5 of those, take a pause. We are moving on to our head. Now, we're going to turn the head. So support wise, have it available even if you feel you don't want to use it or don't need to use it. Because as we turn our head, we can feel a little bit dizzy. Now, starting at the base, heels flat on the floor, feet flat on the floor, and we're about shoulders width. So we've got that good base of support to work from. Knees are soft. As I say, have that support there, even if you feel you don't need to. The movement is this look. So chin is staying level, head to the side, pause in the center, head to the side the other way. And we're taking the chin over towards the shoulder, keeping the eye line level so we don't go up and down through the neck. It's this rotation we're looking at. Exactly the same in our seated position. Now this pause in the center allows the system in our ears to just re-establish itself. So hopefully we don't feel any lightheadedness, any dizziness because of that recentering. So across to the side, pause in the center, across the other way. And we're looking for around about 4 or 5 of those on each side. Crossing the road, turning to talk to our partner or our friend, reaching to get something from the side. This is where our head is moving. It's moving all the time and we don't necessarily think about it, but here's an opportunity to really focus on getting the best movement out of it. Now, it's important to mention here that as far as all of these mobilizations are concerned, we shouldn't feel any pain. If you have pain normally, then you shouldn't feel any more pain. So take your head to where is comfortable for you. If you have pain in your neck, then you may still feel that pain, but it shouldn't feel any worse by turning your head. Once you've done your 4 or 5 on each side, take a pause and let's move into the back of our neck. So here, this little bit here is where we're going to straighten out. So we're going to lengthen through the back of our neck. The eye line is going to stay level, so we're going to give ourselves a double chin. Fingers on, eye line staying level. We can either press back or we can leave the fingers where they are and come back. Now when I say press back, don't force your neck back, but with your fingers just use them as a guide to bring back. Or if you feel more comfortable, leave the fingers where they are and come back, and that will give you a guide as to how far you're going back. But can you see how you're lengthening down through the back? Head, one of the heaviest parts of the body. As it starts to come forward, it starts to pull those shoulders forward as well. So by realigning it, sitting it back on the top, we're shifting our alignment back down through the center of our body. Again, 4 or 5 of those is what you're looking for. Don't worry about that extra chin. It's what you need to make sure we get the best movement out there by keeping that eye line level. We don't want to look up. And then from the front, you'll see that you see very little happening, and that's exactly how it should be. You should feel it in the back of your neck though. Once you've done your 4 or 5 of those, we're going to come back in and we're going to take ourselves back in to our circulation boosting. So we've got this march, using our support if we need it. If we're in our seated position, let's do that toe tap. Let's go for that toe tap. So tapping the foot out in front and bringing it back in. And again, remember the speed and the range is yours. So if it's there, that's fine. All we try to do is just give ourselves a little bit of a boost again. We've allowed that circulation to come down a little bit. We focused on our mobility. Now we're giving it a little bit of a G up again, ready to go into our trunk trio. Now, the trunk plays an important part in keeping us upright, whether we're seated or standing. It's keeping the body up, it's supporting us, it's playing an important part in keeping us upright. I could think of another word, but I'm not going to. It's there. It does a job without us even thinking about it. And a lot of the time, we don't realise how much we use this part of the body until perhaps we've hurt our back or something. And then all of a sudden we realise, actually, do you know what? I know that I use my back so much more than I think about. Right, let's take a pause and let's go into our trunk. Now, base of support here from a standing position. Feet about shoulders width, a good base of support to work from. We've got this lifted and lengthened position again. Knees are soft. In seated, but sitting bones in our bottom are our feet. So we will have a wide support as far as the feet are concerned as well. But where we keep the feet on the floor, the sitting bones stay on the chair. It's important to remember that. Now, the movement. Let's have a look at it in seated firstly. So sitting tall, bottom staying on the chair, down to the side, a little pause in the center, and then down the other way. Coming straight down and straight up. Now, sitting bone is stayed in contact with the chair evenly the whole time. Just as here, look, in standing, the feet stay on the floor the whole time. I'm not looking to shift my weight across from side to side. I'm bending through here. This is this where the bend happens, the side bend. So we lengthen on the one side as we reach down to the other. Side profile view for you, look. It's straight down and straight up. We're not allowing the body to come forward or backwards. Now, if our support is to the side of us, then our side bend is going to come in towards the support, back to the center, 4 or 5 on that side, and then take as many steps as you need to turn, set yourself up on the other side, and away you go. If you have your support in front, Oh, I froze for a minute then. If you have your support in front, then you've got the ability to go down, change your support, and down again on the other side. But remember, always put your hand back down before you take the other one off. So you've always got that support there. 4 or 5 is what you're looking for. And try and go to your maximum range of motion. So what feels comfortable to you, what feels where you can reach, and think about where we use these sorts of things. So you might be reaching down to pick something off the floor. You might be reaching down into your pockets, you know, especially guys, if you've got these cargo pants that were really popular a few years ago, weren't they? Had this big patch pocket on the side to reach into there, you know. It was a difficult pocket to have, strange pocket to have, but I'm sure it was useful. But 4 or 5 good quality. Now don't race it, get the best quality of movement out of it by controlling the speed. Once you've done your 4 or 5, take a pause and we're going to go into our trunk twist. Now here, we want to make sure that the hips stay still, so it's only the trunk that's moving. So again, the same base of support, good big base of support, wide base of support. Shoulders up, back and down. Rotate to the side. Pause in the center. Rotate the other way. Pause in the center. This pause allows us to have that little readjustment. In seated, then again, sitting bones stay firmly in contact with the chair. So we rotate, we pause, and then we rotate the other way. The weight never changes as far as the feet are concerned, the feet of our bottom, that is. So as I rotate, I'm not lifting. If you feel the weight changing, you know you've got some movement in those hips. And in standing, you can use your support as a reference point to place yourself against. So again, as you turn, if you can feel the way your bottom is touching that support, you know you've got a movement within the hip. Standing with support in front, there, so you've always got your support on, hand on, bring yourself back into the center, and then across the other way, back into the center and pause. Again, if your support is to the side and you prefer it to the side, then you've got this movement in, back to the center, and then again, back into your support, turn to the other side to change. 4 or 5 good quality ones. Seat belts, rolling over in bed, looking to cross the road. You know, we may not just turn our head, we're going to do this, but also, you know, things like shopping in the supermarket, you've got this reach that you might come up here. You know, if you're stood in front of something and you just pick something up and you suddenly realise something is over there that you want as well, you might do this little bit of a turn, rotate and a reach to grab it, rather than take a couple of steps sideways just to get it. Okay, 4 or 5 of those. Let's go into our back extender. Hey, big back extender. So I'm going to show you in seated firstly. Sitting tall, bottom is in contact with the chair. We're going to keep the eye line level. And what we're going to do from our seated tall position, lift the chest a little bit higher and then extend backwards, keeping the eye line level. So again, we get this double chin. Back in and release. So we're sat tall, we lift the chest a little bit higher. We come back, we come in and release. So we're extending down through the back here. Now, the reason I show you in seated firstly is because I quite prefer to do that in a seated position. I find I get a better movement out of it because I haven't got to focus on trying to keep this pelvis still. Because this is what we want to focus on in standing. Pelvis staying still, well, in seated as well. But here, lift, come back. Now I'm having to think about whether my pelvis is moving. So personally, I don't feel I get the best movement out there because I'm focusing on this as well. So how can we combat that? Perhaps we can do exactly the same as we did with our rotations. Use that reference point. So now I can feel through the way that my bottom is touching whether my hips are moving, whether my pelvis is moving. And again, I feel I get a better movement out of it. Using your support that way, or again, if you want it by the side, that lift, extension back, and again, try and focus on here. But if you can do it with the reference point, you are probably going to have a better movement because you've got that focus off here. You're focused on just getting the best range of movement as far as your lower back is concerned. And certainly if you suffer with any lower back pain, that is a really good one. Right, once you've done 4 or 5 of those, let's go back into a circulation booster and we're going to take it to our arms here. We're going down to the feet. Time to treat those feet. It is our trio of ankle, feet and toes movement. Now, the ankles play a vital part in keeping us steady and stable. They're forever reacting to changes in the surface underneath our feet. As we change direction, they react to it as well. So they're very, very important. That's why we treat them. Take a pause. Let's have a look at the foot movement. In standing, support to the side. Even if you feel you don't need it, have it there so you've got it. Leg that is closest to your support is going to stay still. Knee slightly soft. We're going to have a look at the first one because we're going to place the toe on the floor and then we're going to lift and place the heel in the same place. Once we feel comfortable with it, eye line to the front. And you've got this placement of the toe, this lift and this placement of the heel in the same place. Now at the same time, let's do a scrunch and a splay of those toes. So from here, we're pointing the toes down. As we bring it across, we can scrunch the toes, and then as we place the heel down, we can splay the toes out. 4 or 5 on one side, turn around to the other side, using your support, turn into it to change sides. In our seated position, then we can do exactly the same movement, but we need to bring the foot back a little bit. And there is our toe and heel. And again, we've got the scrunch and we've got the splay. So splayed toes there, scrunch them as they come over, point the toes. An alternative here though, personally, I feel I don't get the best range of motion from that part of the movement, the heel part, in a seated position. So we can take that little hip walk backwards into the chair, extend the leg away in front, keeping it low to the floor, point the toes away, flexing, and I feel I get a better movement within my flex there than I do in the conventional movement. Yeah, so pointing away, bringing the toes in towards the shin. Now here we can scrunch the toes as we push away, and we can splay them as we come back in. Important thing to remember here, however, is the foot stays close to the floor. If you start to bring it up, you're bringing strength into it, and that's 12 o'clock. We're focusing on mobility here. We don't want to be looking at building strength. Once you've done your 4 or 5, change to the other side. And there we are, folks. That is our movement snack for this morning. Remembering, of course, that heel and toe action is an important part of moving of our walk. So there's your heel, there's your toe. Me and my socks are going to disappear off. I've got an exciting morning this morning. I'm going to have my hair cut again. So look at this little bit of bum fluff around the back. I'll look all smart and dapper for you tomorrow morning. Right, that's me done. Plenty of opportunity for you to crowbar in additional activities as you go through the rest of the day and to stay active and mobile. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will see you bright and breezy tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Take care. Bye-bye.